What's up, guys? Today's day 83 of the 100 Days of LeetCode. We got a medium problem number 3 on LeetCode. It's longest substring without repeating characters. Let's get to it. So we're given a string S. We want to find the length of the longest substring without repeating characters. So example 1, we have that string, and the output is 3 because the longest substring without repeating characters is ABC. We have that here, we have that here, and of course the length of ABC is 3. Anything longer, and we're guaranteed to have at least one character that repeats. So that's why we return 3. Example 2, we got BBBBB. I think I said 5 B's there. I hope I did. Anyway, we have the output of 1 because it's all B's. So, you know, everything's just repeating the whole time. So the longest substring without a repeating character is 1. Example 3 is 3 because we got WKE. Any other substring, we just get a repeating character. Okay. Here they have sort of a clarification here. We can't have a subsequence. So a subsequence basically is different from a substring in that a substring, the characters have to be sort of contiguous, whereas in a subsequence, they don't have to be contiguous, but they have to be in order. So that's just a little clarification that we are indeed looking for substrings. Okay, we're going to use what's called a sliding window solution. And to do a sliding window solution, we have to keep track of the start of our window. So the start of our window right now is 0. And essentially every time we come across a character that we have already counted, we're going to slide over our window by an index, right? So, and sorry, not just an index. We're going to slide it over to the index after the character that we found that has repeated. So that's going to make more sense when I write the actual loop for you. So I'll come back to that. We also need to keep track of something like a maximum string length. So right now, the maximum string length is 0, or substring length, I should say. And then every time we find a substring that doesn't have repeating characters that is longer than the max, we're going to update that. On top of that, we need a dictionary in Python, but basically a hash map of characters. So basically where the character, which character it is and where its latest index is. And we're going to use basically this dictionary to basically figure out whether or not we need to update our start. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use enumerate. Now, for those of you that don't know what enumerate is, it allows you, it's a function that allows you to basically use a for loop where not only do you get access to the actual element in whatever you're iterating over, so C will represent our character, but you also get the index value. So this is just an easy way to have sort of the index value handy. So that's why I'm using enumerate. Okay, so now we want to enumerate over this, excuse me. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check whether or not C is in characters. Okay, and if C is in characters, there needs to be another condition that needs to be true for us to update our sliding window. Start needs to be less than or equal to the position of C in our dictionary. And the reason is because start keeps track of the start of our sliding window. So if we had a character before that sliding window, well, we don't care about that because we're just counting we're just keeping track of the characters that are within that sliding window. So that's why this needs to be true as well for us to basically enter this if statement. So hopefully that makes sense. So first we're checking whether or not the character is actually in our dictionary. And then if it is in our dictionary, we're making sure that its latest index is greater than or equal to start, right? And then we can enter this if blocks. So if that's the case, we need to update our start. So we need to update our start to basically the last index of the character that we just found plus 1. Okay, and the reason why we're adding 1 is because, of course, now we want to shift over 1 from the index of that character that we just checked and basically start counting a new sliding window. Okay. Now, if we're not in this if block, we have an else block. And in this else block, we're basically going to be checking whether or not we need to update the max. So the max is simply going to be the max function of the current max that we've been tracking. And then also I minus start plus 1. Okay, so I minus start plus 1 is basically the length of the current not subsequence. It's funny, I went over this and I said subsequence. The length of the current substring that we're sort of going over right now. Now, the reason why we need to add plus 1 is because, of course, without this plus 1, it wouldn't be inclusive, right? Because if we had sort of I and start at the same index, we would get 0 here. But of course, we don't want 0 because there is one character there, so we want 1, and that would hold true for any numbers that you could think of. Now that's the else block, and now at the end of this loop, we need to update the latest, the latest index of the current character that we're at. So we update the value in the dictionary under the key of the current character to be our current index. Okay. And then at the end, we're just returning the max, and we should have working code. There you go. So that's how you solve that one. That was day 83. Hopefully you guys like that one. If you do, please like, subscribe. We got 17 more days to go. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.